Let's talk XG. I want to mention as a disclaimer that I'm not saying that XG are conforming to cultural appropriation. I also want to mention that Black people of different backgrounds are allowed to have and form their own different opinions. I'll just be speaking on mine. You can agree or disagree, just let me voice myself. I don't really think that this is something that non-Black people can speak on, so if you do, don't overstep and overshadow our voices. Like always, I'll be giving a background on the subject.
Everything I do a A1, flawless. Make them go insane, pandemonium, riot. Always looking fresh, got the green in my diet. Head to my toe, shining like canary diamonds. Yeah, freedom, cool kiss.
XG, stylized as capital XG, stands for Extraordinary Girls. They are a 7-member girl group that debuted under X on March 18, 2022. They've been working on their debut since 2017, and after all that hard work, debuted with the single Tippy Toes. According to their official profile on their company's website, they're summarized as XG is a 7-member hip-hop and R&B inspired girl group comprising of Jorin, Chisa, Hinata, Harvey, Julia, Maya, and Kokona. XG debuted with the single Tippy Toes in March 2022 under the global entertainment production company X, renowned for fostering artist groups with distinctive worldwide views and a bold cultural impact resonating globally. The name XG, short for Extraordinary Girls, embodies their mission to empower individuals from diverse backgrounds worldwide through their unconventional music styles and performances, transcending conventional norms and standards.
You can imagine. Don't need a stunt, cause we cool and suit and booted just for fun. You couldn't run up on me, I'm too out of this world. I got the spaceship jumping ready for my lunch. I don't care. Gonna keep you on your tippy toes. Watch the whip.
Okay, now let's move on to the problem or controversy, I guess if you can call it, at hand with the group. The members of XG on multiple occasions have worn black hairstyles. My stance on these hairstyles on races that don't have the hair texture of them is as long as the afro/natural black hair isn't being imitated and the hairstyles look good on them and are done good on them, it's okay. I don't have a problem with it. Other people might disagree with this, but this is my stance on it as a Black person. And as long as the reasoning for you doing it isn't to have like a black aesthetic on you or to fit the hip-hop genre and R&B, I see where the controversy around them starts, because how do we know why they're doing the genre that they're doing? Is really out of appreciation. I've seen multiple times where XG has said things and done things that confirmed that what they were doing was out of appreciation for the culture. But this is where the saying your intent for doing something will not always equal the reaction that you want out of people or how it comes off as. The thing about XG is that the rappers or main rappers of the group are the ones that wear these hairstyles, which is kind of saying a lot. That in itself is kind of iffy with me, because if you all are appreciating of the culture, then why is the rapper the one that has to wear the braids? We've seen this in like a lot of other K-pop groups where they usually wear the braids or they have a Blaccent because they're rapping or that they want to influence and implement hip-hop culture into it. The thing that some of them do a little wrong is to say stuff like they're trying to be aggressive. And if you don't know, Black people have always been having the stereotype of aggression put upon us for no reason at that. So when I hear a K-pop idol or in a group that is doing a hip-hop concept or is a rapper say that they're really trying to look aggressive, it rubs me the wrong way, because now it's just like you either think that Black people are aggressive or the only way that you can show off hip-hop is by going off of a different culture that's kind of separate from black culture that mixes up with it, and I guess you could say it's gang culture. I don't know why black people come to mind to K-pop idols when they think of gangs. Like, there aren't gangs in Korea, gangs in South American countries, and gangs in European countries, like gangs all over the world. But when they think about gangster, they think of black people, which is a very, very, very negative connotation that just needs to end. To talk about their hairstyles, I don't think that they're supposed to be an imitation of dreads or dreadlocks.
Bounce that, make it go. Trampoline, bounce that to the floor. Trampoline, bounce that, make it go. Trampoline, bounce that to the floor.
Moving on to another thing that they do a lot that I think should really be highlighted into a reason why someone wouldn't like them or be against them is their use of AAVE, which leads to them using Blaccent to sound more hip-hop or just black to get across the hip-hop sound. And it's just like wrong because there's a lots of rappers that aren't black that don't use AAVE nor change their voices to sound like they sound black, which is only stereotypically black. Let me get rid of that. You cannot really sound black. You can use slang or have an accent relating to a specific city or a part of the world, but you cannot sound a race because everyone really sounds different. According to Wikipedia, African American Vernacular English, AAVE, is the variety of English natively spoken, particularly in urban communities by most working and middle-class African Americans and some Black Canadians. AAVE is mainly used by African Americans in the United States. AAVE used to be called Ebonics and is now called AAVE. The reason why the use of AAVE by other people that aren't African Americans from the US is due to it being used as an imitation of how black people sound, even though it's not every black person uses it. It's mainly black people from the United States, and it's also people that have grown up in areas that use it. Like, for instance, you could hear it being used in New York. There's a difference between AAVE being used in New York rather than an accent that New Yorkers have and the way that they say things, just because they call things differently. A lot of people refer to AAVE as slang, but the difference between AAVE is strictly for United States Black Americans, and slang is in a lot of different countries and within a lot of different languages. It's different because Black people from the UK can use words that other, let's say, races that live in the UK use. Like, a white person can say the same thing as a black person and they grow up saying the same things. But a black person in America, the United States, could be using AAVE that are used, but a person from the UK wouldn't understand them because they don't use the same words and they have different meanings. That's the difference and why you cannot refer to it as slang. AAVE is misidentified as internet slang or TikTok slang, and the thing is, it's just, I guess you can say this is where appropriation gets started, is because a lot of white content creators on TikTok started to misuse AAVE, and now everyone refers to it as TikTok slang or internet slang, even though it was spoken in communities in the United States by black people. It's not anything to do with the internet or TikTok. It started off with someone hearing something, saying something on the internet, turning it big and misusing it and making it very, very annoying. These are heavily misused AAVE that just ran on the internet, and white people had a field day with it, etc. You've possibly already overheard a lot of these, and people are just trying to imitate black people, and it got annoying. I'm pretty sure you've seen videos where there's white people that I guess act black or want to say that they don't act black and be like, I have a lot of love to black people, but then misuse all this AAVE in a whole paragraph of sentence. Like, let me give it an example. Your hair lace is popping, poo, you did that, you slayed a, it was the lace for me. Sis, you finna eat that stuff up. Yeah, that joint was really, really nice. Like, that sounds like word vomit. It doesn't sound coherent, it doesn't sound cohesive. It's really out of nowhere and just everywhere. The reason why this is a problem is AAVE is a dialect. It needs to be used properly. It has its own rules just like regular English does. You have to say the words properly. So y'all shouldn't really be judging people for just using AAVE because it's still English. We say the same things. You understand me, and even though it sounds grammatically incorrect to you, you're still able to understand and grasp the conversation. So why do you have a problem with us using it? But you guys legit don't care about other people using it and make a mockery out of us using it, but still be letting y'all people slide for it. That just doesn't make sense, and it's kind of the reason why people don't like other people using AAVE. To other people that are really, really nonchalant with the culture, they just be like, why does it matter? A lot of the reasons why the Blaccent is also very, very out of pocket is just that no one can really sound like a race because we all use different languages, we all use different dialects, we all use different accents. It's just the Blaccent is to imitate people that live in the United States that are black that also use AAVE, and to make it seem like, oh, we only talk ghetto-ly or hood and ratchet, but that's not true at all. Like, there's a lot of black people that can properly speak English to like standard English and still use AAVE because that's what they grew up on hearing, but they're not going to be writing essays that have AAVE in it because that's not accepted. It all just ties in how black history and culture has always been changed or used to fit other races, and you can see that in how, like, I don't want to mention Jim Crow, but there was minstrels used and blackface was done. So if blackface was to do the imitation of black people, who's to say that Blaccent isn't also blackface? Influence pop so much to the point where a lot of things that are in pop culture are from black people. Take it how you want, but don't discredit it. A lot of things have been stolen from black culture. So to give a summary of everything from the points I was able to note from a lot of time spent on getting to know the group, in the nicest way possible, they are inauthentic and contrary to what a lot of people say because they are still doing something others are doing. They are not special and they shouldn't get the pass for a lot of things just because other idols and rappers have done worse. Worse? They act stereotypically black a lot. This point refers to their music and they are in need of lessening it. Just because it's your inspiration doesn't mean that you can't disrespect it or use it out of context. They can wear the streetwear, get their nails done, wear lace and wigs, not that anyone is really gatekeeping that, but the whole problem is having a copy and paste of African American mannerism, stereotypical or not, as a personality trait that they get turned off and on just because they're told that it fits the concept. The way a person acts / a group of people act will never be a concept. There's a lot of K-pop rappers and K-rappers that use slang instead of AAVE. I still believe that there is a difference in rappers from the US and other countries, as well as rappers that are African American, a little bit of other races in the US, that have grown up with the culture and opposed to those that haven't. I also understand that when you get surrounded by a culture or are living near people of a sort, you start to adapt it. In Nexi's case, they are not raised in the city of, let's say, New York, but are instead taught and learned incorporated United States black culture into their lives throughout their training and their musical journey. With learning rap culture, I guess they picked up a sound with it and familiarized themselves with it and adjusted to it. I don't think people understand that black people are really ostracized for the culture while others that do still get praised for it. Black people are not trying to say that other races can't implement the culture. We're just saying that it's wrong that the original doers of a certain practice don't get acknowledgement for their culture, and instead those that appreciate or appropriate are given the pass because of what we say does not matter. It's that there's still a heavy stigma on our heads for it. I don't know if it's just me. Sometimes when I hear Exy rapping or some other K-pop idols and rappers rapping, I'm just like, what do they know about that? Because it's just, they're using stuff that we use, and it's like, you've never experienced something or gone through something like that, or really know what you're saying and talking about, so why would you use it? In a way, I was going to make this video about if they were cultural appropriating or not, but I think in the end of it, I just want to give you guys the information about a lot of things and talk about personal experiences or how other people in the Black community feel about things like this, and why you could say or couldn't say that what they're doing is appropriation. I'm gonna just leave it up to you guys to think about the points that I made and take it upon yourself to be able to identify if when an artist is doing something, if it's CA or if it's CI. To finally conclude and end all of this up, what I do think is important is that the group is not deserving of the hate and call-outs that they get. In the end, I don't know how to feel about the group. I like some of their music, but the biggest thing that's stopping me from sending them is the Blaccent and them feeling like a persona of rappers from the West that I really just don't enjoy. I was watching a lot of videos on it. Someone talked about their hairstyles and said it wasn't CA, which I agreed on, but they just said something like if they're taking apart on the music and making music from a culture, then it's okay for them to basically appropriate things, which I'm like, that's not right, because you can take from a culture the music, the everything from it, except what people said that you shouldn't. If people from it that wear it possibly on a daily basis or for special occasions as a dress-up clothing, if they're not saying anything about it, why do you have to say something about it? I just feel like we always be rubbing our noses into things that we just don't have anything to speak on. I know I said in the beginning that Black people can speak on this, but like, if you're not someone that is in touch with Black culture and listen to the music and partake in it, you shouldn't be speaking on it.